Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you are listening to us on WQEE 99.1 FM, the key out of Newton, Georgia, home of Southern Sports. This is episode 715, just in case you're keeping score at home. It is Wednesday night. As promised, I'm doing a live show every Monday and Wednesday nights, and I'm excited about this show. On the show today, Damon Lillard gets traded to the Bucks. Michigan State finally fires Mel Tucker, and I'm going to have my 2023 NBA season preview show. Let's go. All right. Before I get into the show, I just want to say that last night on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show with Thrift Behringer, it was very good, and we had a great time doing the show. You can catch a replay of that show on WQEE. I aired part 1 yesterday. Part 2 is going to air today, so you want to check that out. Also, don't forget, we are going to be at Russell County on Friday for high school game day as Valley taking on Russell County. I'm going to be calling that game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Thrift Behringer and Rick Beach of Kutsu Sports is going to be calling Sandy Creek and Harris County up in Hamilton, Georgia. And I do want to say, as I talk about high school football, I am really excited about watching tomorrow's Week 7 preview on Fox 54 for Friday Night Lights with Dave Plata. It is just a breath of fresh air to see Dave Plata covering high school football once again. Does a great job with St. Apicelli. Him and Thrift Behringer were phenomenal on Viking Live last week. And I really am looking forward to Thursday mornings, 7:30 in the morning, and catching a replay on Fox 54's Facebook channel of Friday Night Lights with Dave Plata. It is incredible. It's like if you look at Boomer's Fastest 3 Minutes, Chris Berman on ESPN, it's kind of like that. It's just a 3-minute just capsule of everything high school football related in the Chattahoochee Valley. Very informative show, and I look forward to seeing it. All right, well, let's talk about the big trade that happened yesterday in the NBA. Huge trade that is going to catapult these teams. As I actually went through my over and under, might have to change some of the teams. The Milwaukee Bucks get Damian Lillard, but it costed them a little bit. The Portland Trailblazers get Drew Holiday. They also got DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns. So this was a 3-team trade. Tsunami Camara and the 2029 first-round picks that the Bucks are going to swap with the Blazers. The Suns get Jusuf Nurkic from the Blazers, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, and Grayson Allen. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to be the favorites in the East now. Damian Lillard paired up with Chris Middleton. When he's healthy, Chris Middleton is going to be a great number 3 to Giannis and Damian Lillard. Now you have 2 superstars. You have 2 top 5 players that are playing on the same team. I know one person that's happy that Damian Lillard went to the Bucks, and that's Bobby Z. I had to text him right away when I heard about the trade. I know he's excited. He posted it on Facebook. I think the Milwaukee Bucks, they have to be the favorites to come out of the East now because they have Dame time. What does that mean for the Portland Trailblazers? Well, the Blazers got a very good defensive guard in Drew Holiday. When healthy, he is still one of the top defensive guards in this league. And the Portland Trailblazers are going to be fine. They got size with DeAndre Ayton, and they also got Scoot Henderson. I think that Scoot Henderson, the number 3 overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, is going to have a decent rookie year for the Blazers. What do the Phoenix Suns get? Well, it doesn't really matter because the Suns already have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. So they got some pieces to go along. They got a scrappy player in Grayson Allen. This is really shaking up the NBA world. As I get into my NBA preview show, I'm going to have that later on in the show. But we have to get to the news that Mel Tucker has been fired at Michigan State. This has been official. We all know about the allegations. I'm hoping that they don't surface and they are not true. Look, Mel Tucker, they wanted to find an excuse to get rid of him and not have to pay that buyout. He finishes at Michigan State with a 20-14 record. Look, he got that big extension, a 10-year, $95 million contract because he did finish 11-2 in 2021. Remember, that was the year that Peyton Thorne was their quarterback. Mel Tucker, he won 5 games at Colorado. He was a great defensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs. I've always been a fan of Mel Tucker's. I was a fan of his when he was an assistant coach and he took over in 2007 when Bobby Petrino left. And I think that Mel Tucker, hopefully he'll get on his feet. He'll find something. Where does Michigan State go from here? Because it doesn't look good. In the last couple of years with Larry Nassar, now Mel Tucker, and Mark D'Antonio. I mean, I know that they want to get Mark D'Antonio back in the coach's box. And I know that character is a big issue when it comes to finding your next head coach. And Michigan State, which is a decent football team, but they've always been little brother to Michigan and Ohio State. Sometimes Michigan will make the college football playoff every now and then, and they've had pretty good quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins and Connor Cook. But I think that Michigan State probably needs to give this to a young, hot coordinator, but I know that the wish list is Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is going to make a difference at Michigan State day one. But I just don't know if that is the right fit because of the whole character issue. Because Urban Meyer's got his problems too. But you have to admit that he is one great college football coach. All right, I was going to get into it because right now, as we speak, as I'm doing this on Wednesday night, the Atlanta Braves are taking on the Chicago Cubs, and they were down 3-1. And unfortunately, the Cubs did put up a run in the top of the 9th inning. What does this mean? Well, the Braves are not going to be able to clinch that number 1 seed just yet. That magic number is still 1 game. Dodgers are taking on the Rockies right now. It is tied at 1. I just want to see the Atlanta Braves get healthy for the postseason, get that number 1 seed. The first round of the wild card games will start on Tuesday, October the 3rd. We already know that the Phillies and the Brewers are going to be hosting wild card games for the National League. Everything else is up in the air, especially in the American League. The Tampa Bay Rays, they could still win the division. It's shocking, but the Baltimore Orioles do have the number 1 seed in the American League, and there is a possible chance that the Tampa Bay Rays could still win the division. But the Major League Baseball playoffs will start next week, and I love Major League Baseball. Love the playoffs. It is going to be great. I just want to see the Atlanta Braves get healthy. Hopefully, Max Fried will be on the postseason roster, and he could pitch game 1. If not game 1, let Spencer Strider pitch game 1. I think the Braves rotation is going to be healthy enough for them to be the favorites to come out of the National League. My early World Series pick, well, I'm picking the Braves and the Orioles. Although, look out for the Houston Astros. Right now, they would be a number 6 seed, and they would definitely be a favorite against the Minnesota Twins, even though the Twins would have home field advantage in that wild card round. All right, it is time for my NBA preview show. Yes, the 2023 NBA season is fast approaching. We got preseason games that's coming up. The first game is actually October the 5th. You got NBA training camp coming up. So I looked up on Bleacher Report the over and under win total for every single NBA team. As you remember, last year, the Denver Nuggets beat the Miami Heat. The Heat were a number 8 seed. They upset the Bucks. And you could play the what-if game. What if the Atlanta Hawks do not win the play-in game and the Hawks end up playing the Bucks and the Heat end up playing the Celtics? I think about that too. Let's start with the Atlanta Hawks, not because they're the local team in Georgia, because they're on my list alphabetically. The over-under win total for the Atlanta Hawks is 41.5, which means they're a borderline playoff team. And I'm going to hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I hope to have the play-by-play announcer, Steve Holman, on the show. He has agreed to come on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show with me and Thrift Behringer. If not, looking at his schedule, hopefully I could get him on one of the shows so we could talk about the Atlanta Hawks losing John Collins. But I do think they got a little bit of depth when healthy. The Atlanta Hawks, I think, are going to go over their win total from their over and under total. Yes, they did lose John Collins, but Clint Capella, pretty good center when healthy. Sadiq Bey is now the starting power forward. And when is DeAndre Hunter going to be completely healthy and be that two-way player that we hoped that he would become? Kobe Buffkin, the rookie from Michigan, he is the backup point guard to Trae Young. You got the backcourt with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Bogdanovic coming off the bench. I hope that he has a great season and he starts getting hot from three-point range, and maybe he could be a candidate to win Sixth Man of the Year. And the addition of Patty Mills. So the Atlanta Hawks are going to have some shooters. I think they're going to be a little bit better than what Bleacher Report says. Bleacher Report says they're going to be a team with 41 wins. All right. The Boston Celtics. So the Celtics lose to the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics have always been a team that just couldn't quite get over the hump, even though they went to the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Look, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two superstars. And Al Horford, a great, savvy veteran. They got a lot of pieces, but they lost Grant Williams. They lost Marcus Smart. With the addition of Kristaps Porzingis, the Celtics are better offensively. But I think they lost a step defensively, losing Marcus Smart to the Memphis Grizzlies. All right, the Brooklyn Nets have not been the same since the Big Three left. It's been a disaster. They tried to make it work with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. We all know that 1 year they were a three-pointer away from making it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021. The Bucks ended up going instead of them. That really was their shot. And then the pandemic happened where Kyrie Irving refused to get vaccinated. He cost the Brooklyn Nets their season. They got swept by the Celtics. Last year, they blew up the team. They didn't even make the playoffs. They got some decent pieces, but, do they have any draft picks? Because now this team is going to have to rebuild. Nick Claxton, Cameron Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Ben Simmons, is he going to play for the Brooklyn Nets? Is he going to be trade bait? The over and under has got the Brooklyn Nets at 37. That sounds about right. By the way, the Celtics over and under 54. I'm wondering if that changes now that Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. All right, the Charlotte Hornets. The big question is the health of LaMelo Ball. Brandon Miller, the number 2 overall pick, is going to have a good season, but they got the Hornets at 30.5. The Chicago Bulls are at 36.5. Huge loss. Lonzo Ball going to be out for the season. I really want to see the Chicago Bulls do well, but that is going to hurt. Hey, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were the surprise of the league last year. Their over-under win total is 50.5. They got the addition of Max Strus. I like that. The Dallas Mavericks, their win total, 44.5. A full season of Kyrie Irving. They got Grant Williams on the defense. I think the Mavericks are going to be a playoff team. The Denver Nuggets, the defending NBA champions, their over-under win total, 53.5. And I think that they've got to be the favorites to repeat. Even though the West is stacked, You got teams like the Phoenix Suns, and the Golden State Warriors are going to be better. The Lakers are going to be better because all those pieces they got in mid-season, now they can just roll into the Western Conference with a great regular season record. The Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham's going to come back from that injury, so it's like getting another draft pick. Usar Thompson is the rookie that is coming in, and then also they have Jaden Ivey. I think that the Detroit Pistons have a pretty good backcourt. And then I like James Wiseman. I think James Wiseman could improve for the Detroit Pistons. That was just a player the Warriors just decided to just get rid of because they felt he was no good. Well, the over and under's got the Pistons at 28.5. You got, and I'm going to try to get through this before we get to break. The Golden State Warriors, they lost Jordan Poole, but they got Chris Paul, 48.5. The Houston Rockets, Amen Thompson is coming in with Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr. The Rockets are a very young team. They're going to be very interesting to watch. I like the Pacers. Their rookie, Jarace Walker, along with Tyrese Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. I'm a fan of what the Pacers are doing. They're still a young team. The Clippers is the biggest mystery. Their over-under win total is 46.5. If Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are healthy, and Russell Westbrook could be the X factor, he could provide that spark coming off the bench. I think the Clippers can be a team in the West to look out for. The Lakers, getting Christian Wood, but they're going to get Rui Hachimura for a full season. Austin Reeves is going to be the point guard of the future. LeBron's getting up there in age, and AD with that big contract extension. The Clippers or the Lakers with Darvin Ham in his second season. I hate to say this, but the Lakers are favored to win the NBA title. I think that they could get all the pieces to get it work. They could get it going. The Memphis Grizzlies, remember, Ja Morant's going to be suspended for 25 games. They got Marcus Smart, but they've lost Dylan Brooks. I think they're going to lose that energy on defense, but Marcus Smart is going to fill the void while Ja Morant serving his 25-game suspension. The Miami Heat, I don't think they're going to duplicate going to the NBA Finals. They were anomaly last year. Number 8 seed, they upset the Milwaukee Bucks. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they were like magic, like they were in the bubble in 2020. The Miami Heat have to be the luckiest team in the NBA to reach the NBA Finals in 2 years, 2 seasons in the last 3 seasons. But they're going to lose all their role players. Max Strus, Gabe Vincent are both gone. Remember, Tyler Hero, when he was injured, he came back. Victor Oladipo. They had all these players. Kyle Lowry is getting up there in age. The over and under win total for the Miami Heat, 48.5, by the way. Now, this over under win total was before the Damian Lillard trade. I think that the Milwaukee Bucks have probably improved their win total to 55.5. There's a good chance the Bucks could win 60 games. Damian Lillard makes them that good. And then the Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, still got a good team. They're a borderline play-in team. When we get into the play-in tournament, I think the Timberwolves are right there. Same with the New Orleans Pelicans. Even if Zion Williamson has a full season, they also have Jonas Valanciunas, and they have Brandon Ingram. They got some all-stars. They got C.J. McCollum. The New York Knicks, the acquisition of Dante DiVincenzo might provide a spark. I do like what the Knicks have done, making the playoffs. Jalen Brunson is a pretty decent player. Julius Randle, although he shrinks in big games. They got the Knicks at 44.5, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Cason Wallace, a brand new rookie, and Chet Holmgren coming back from that big injury. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are a borderline play-in team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and then Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey, a very young team for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero coming back for his second season. They got a couple of decent rookies. I'm interested to see them. Anthony Black and Jet Howard might make some contributing factors for the Orlando Magic, but they're They're not going to be a playoff team. They're projected to win 36 games. The Sixers could possibly lose James Harden, as he might be on the trade block. There's talks that he might want to go back to the Rockets. The Sixers at 49.5 wins. The key is Tyrese Maxey. Is he the superstar that's going to play alongside Joel Embiid? Because the Sixers do have some very good pieces. And, Doc Rivers no longer the coach on the Sixers. We'll see. And I don't know if they are going to make the finals, but they are a team that is going to at least make the playoffs in the East. All right, we're almost finished. The Phoenix Suns, getting Bradley Beal was huge. I still don't think the Suns have the defensive stoppers. They do have scoring, and they're going to put up a lot of points, and they're going to do great in the regular season. The Portland Trailblazers, like I already mentioned, they got DeAndre Ayton. They got Drew Holiday, Scoot Henderson. They're going to be a fun team to watch, but I don't see them as a playoff team in the West. You got the Sacramento Kings, who made history last year, making the playoffs for the first time since 2006. However, fell to the Golden State Warriors in the first round of the playoffs in 5 games. 7 games, I think. Yeah, it was a 7-game series. I don't know. It was a 5-game series. The Sacramento Kings have a very young team. I love what De'Aaron Fox does. Keegan Murray, he's going to have a great second year. Harrison Barnes, he's got that championship experience. Domantas Sabonis, they got stars. I think the Sacramento Kings are ready to pop and do something in the West. I seriously think the Kings are going to be right there as one of the top teams in the Western Conference. The San Antonio Spurs, it's going to be a rebuilding year. Even with Victor Wembanyama, they might be a play-in team. And Wembanyama is going to have an impact. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm going to predict that Wembanyama is going to average, I'm going to say 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. That's a pretty good stat line. You could quote me on that later when the NBA season is over. And then the Toronto Raptors, they lose Fred VanVleet. Grady Dick, a rookie from Kansas, comes to the Raptors. I don't know what the Raptors are going to look like without Nick Nurse. I thought he was a great head coach. I cannot believe they got rid of him. The Utah Jazz, I think that Taylor Hendricks are going to be a pretty good rookie. The addition of John Collins. Walker Kessler had a great season last year. I think he is going to step up. Could be a possible all-star for the Utah Jazz. And finally, the Washington Wizards with Bilal Coulibaly and Jordan Poole. It's going to be rebuilding time for the Washington Wizards. I do not see them as a playoff team. I will have more on the NBA, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Thrift Barringer and I, which, by the way, we're both huge basketball fans. We are excited to talk about the NBA. And with the NBA season about a month away, it's getting ready for basketball time, and I cannot wait. Do I have a finals prediction? Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm going to say it's the Golden State Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks. There you go. All right. That is going to do it for the show here on the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. I do want to thank everybody out there that has watched this show and has subscribed to the YouTube channel and liked the Facebook page. But don't forget, you can also catch a replay of the show. It's found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcast. It's going to be a very big weekend of sports. You got some college football games coming up. You got Utah taking on Oregon State on Friday night. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what the Thursday night games are. You got Middle Tennessee State taking on Western Kentucky, Temple taking on Tulsa, and Jacksonville State taking on Sam Houston. Those are the Thursday night games. The Deep South's oldest rivalry, 3:30 kickoff at CBS, and it is Georgia taking on Auburn. And this is my favorite rivalry because both schools we cover here in the Chattahoochee Valley, along with Alabama. Alabama is in Starkville taking on Mississippi State. And so it's going to be a great, exciting weekend of college football and high school football. Friday, I'm going to have my high school football preview review show. We are going to preview week 7. And don't forget all the local coverage that you can catch here in the Chattahoochee Valley, to include Sports Vision's radio show with DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer. You can catch it on Smooth R&B 92.1 in Columbus, Georgia from 4 to 6, also on the Sports Vision's Facebook page. That will do it for me. Hope everybody has a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.